Hello, how you guys doing? James here. Let me get myself ready. Trying to see if I can put some. It looks kind of dark. I was trying to lighten it up a little bit, but I guess it's if I turn on the main light, it kind of like got a glow, and the hallway light, and then I have the center light that kind of it kind of like gets kind of reflect off the screen. But I guess I'll do it like this. Hope hopefully people can see me in the background. Uh, Let me see if I can tune it up. Okay. Um, I want to go with on another. My, I want to tell you another. Tell this my dating experience and having past girlfriends and what did I learn from it? You know, sometimes when you go into a relationship, um, you have to be mentally ready to have a relationship. And there was periods in my life, I, you know, there's a couple of times in my life I can say I wasn't mature in a way, and you don't take things really seriously, and it's you think it's just gonna be a hop, skip in the jungle, and in the results of it is you find out that once that person you had a relationship with, they're no longer in the picture. In the case of, I had a, I had one time I had a girlfriend that my friend set me up with. Him and his wife set me up, and we dated for like a year and a half. But it didn't work out. She cheated on me. What? How she did? I thought we was gonna remain close until she moved. Moved up from where we was from to another place in Ohio. And so one day, so me and my friend helped her move up there to another part of Ohio. I thought the relationship was gonna keep going until one day I must have caught off guard when I went to can I ask her to use the bathroom. I found a pair of men's underwear in the bathroom. I said, "Oh, somebody already." I thought we was in a courting, dating stage of relationship, and then she tried to play it off. And I went back and told my buddy about it. He was upset, that the one that set us up. You're like, "Damn, I can't believe she did that to you." I say, "Hey, man, it was all right. It's like it it seemed like it. Usually a relationship like that is was about, especially when someone get a job out of town, and your girlfriend or unless you're willing to go with her, um, it can be really temperamental, and it kind of threw me for a loop for a while. I mean, I didn't get really down and depressed about it. One time I was ready to go to bat for her one time because her ex-husband come over and I don't know, went out crazy, and I was about to get, but that something told me not it's not even worth it. I had a couple people tell me, man, it just wasn't worth it. And she also had a child, um, and eventually she ended up moving to Minnesota. That's what really what happened. And the next girlfriend I had, you know, and my family liked. Um, she was an older woman. She was real nice. Um, she she was she's about 4 or 5 years older than me. And when I first met her, you know, her mom liked me. Her sister liked me. Her sister's now husband didn't like me for some reason because I was younger. I don't know why. And but we dated for a couple of years and off and on, and then just one day we just kind of grew apart. Um, but everybody liked it. Her, my mother liked her. My sister liked her. They was like, "What happened to Gwen?" I said, just sometimes, you get to a point in life, you went your separate ways. But it didn't end on a bad note, just that some people grow apart. And so that was one of my first, it was my girlfriend. And then there was a time I dated a young lady. You know, I was in my immature stage, and I didn't break it off well. Um, I should have just was up front with her, tell her that I don't find you attractive no more. It just ain't gonna work, and all of a sudden, blah blah blah. And I kind of dipped out and never called her again. So that was one of my few times in my life I was immature, and it's something to learn from that. Every lesson in life is another. So, and it wasn't going to work out anyway. When you're young, about 20, 19, 20, you still at that stage, but you're learning lessons along the way. But this is where I got to be in life, and basically, in the end, you realize that, and then that the person that you with wasn't really meant to be your mate. And then at the town where I was living, I was looking to get up out of there because it was boring. I was depressed. It was just things wasn't going on. And so that also plays a part. And then things of your past when you live in a small town. It kind of reminds you, makes you even depressed because you don't have a high-paying job. One, it's just that, things you start thinking about, people still living in the past that they regrets they didn't do when they was in high school and things like that. And then it's just kind of puts you in bondage. And that was like for me to live in Youngstown, here in Ohio. Is about an hour away from Cleveland. And it just kept me bound in the past, and it kept me every day when I left high school for 10 years, it was just, that's what, it was really boring, and it was depressing. And I saw some things that even with friends of mine that, happened to a couple of friends with the local politics up there, that it didn't work out too well. So that's why I didn't stay. And the reason why, and I didn't even want it to the point that I didn't even want my own, if a woman had my child, I didn't want it to be in Youngstown. I didn't want to be born in Youngstown. So that was my mindset at that time. So by the time I didn't know where to go in some place in the United States, where to go and just start over, and finding different settings. So that's one of the reasons why I never had children. And then you see you have to be mentally, emotionally ready for a child. And to guide another human being that is your seed, that takes, I give a lot of men courage for doing that. That, to raise a boy or girl and teach them all the things that, so they won't go down the path that maybe some of us made mistakes have. And that was another thing. And then you want to be with someone that how much you care about their mother. That was really a point. How did you feel? Because that weighs a lot. Because their mom, especially when they live with their mom is the closest thing to them, raising them up, feeding them, and if they have a good mom and everything. So it's important to kind of, when you're a man and you're dealing with a child, that's one of the things that crept to my mind. And so I'm glad I never had babies out of wedlock, and it could be an emotional thing, could be a financial thing, and it could be, and then it's like I couldn't imagine being a man and leaving, if I had a child, leaving behind and he or she don't know who I am, and then it's like a part of you that that shares your DNA, angry at you because you didn't come back into the picture. Hold on one minute, I got you. Check something. So when you're courting and when you're dating out here in this world, uh, be selective of who you close partner with. And so that was one of the things that really have to have me thinking. And yeah, but it's never too late to find someone significant. It's just that does the person match up with your idea of what you want? Do they match up with your goals in life? And where's the test of time? If things go bad, if things go south, are they really there to be there for you, or are they be there just for their own gain? So that's one of the things that that's something to take note. But it's been a journey. I don't know if I can turn on the light. It's kind of dark. That's kind of bothering me. Let it go. I'm gonna let it come out a little bit. Oh, yeah, I like kind of. Yeah. Let me turn on the light here. Yeah, I got this light. Hopefully this will work a little bit more better. You can see me like I'm out back in the dark. Like a ghost. Like a shadow or something like that. But anyway, yeah, that's the reason why some guys like myself probably stay single and never have any children. It's those times like that. And it kind of costs a lot for what people, you watch your friends and your family members have children. So you see the battles and ups and downs of raising somebody. And, it's a blessing. The children are a blessing. It's a trial. Raising a child is a trial for love. And then you want to be with somebody you care about. At least you have some type of feelings for them, like for a man, for their mother. That's how I look at it, because if you don't have any feelings for their mother, that might take a toll on the son or the daughter. Like, well, if you didn't love my mom, then you really don't have no love for them, And thank God that my dad never did that to me. He always loved my mother, just when they were young, and he really let me know that. So it made me feel some kind of good that my dad did care. It was just my mom, and I think it was, I was thinking about this today. It was relatives on both sides that allowed that to happen. Had allowed sometimes people try to interfere with your marriage and your relationship, and I think that was when my dad and my mom when they first got together before he married his second wife and had a child, which is my sister to this day. I'm about 5 years older than she is. And he married up to, I think, for 15 years, 16 years before he passed away in 1989. He was he was 46 years old. So I'm past his age, and I've been blessed to live this long. And my granddad passed away when he was 60. I think he was 88. And of course, my uncle, his brother, he passed away when he was 68. So it means a lot, because I'm like, like I'm the Thomas that carries the last name. I'm like the last generation of Thomas that carried that name as far as the men. Um, my nephew carried his dad's name, and probably my grandnephew carried his dad's, whoever his dad's last name is. So legally I'm the only Thomases in the world. Uh, Once is it, that's it. Unless let's if God meant for me to meet a woman and at this stage and have a kid and then another, be someone like Moses or someone like that, and have a kid at a later, it can happen. But I don't know. I mean, you never know what God has in the plan. I mean, look at David Letterman. He was like 60 something when he found his first baby. Oh, that's your granddad. No, that's my dad. Like, oh, okay. But anyway, yeah. But yet, it's just finding the right person with who you have when you're having a family with, and that's very important. And I didn't want to have a child out of lust. That's the main thing, because having a child out of lust, it falls back on them, and people don't think about the repercussion that. And then when you see your son and daughter acting out similar to the same activities that you done when you was a child. So we try to hopefully that they would be there and give them a good advice if you do have a child, so they won't follow in your bad example, that they'll meet somebody and they do right, and they would make the decision and have their own little family and have their own child. A couple of my friends, they did it right. They got married. I mean, my sister did it right. She got married. Second time she got married. First time she had a child, wasn't married, but second child she did. And just one of those things. Now, just one of the things, part of life. Just watching different people. My friend John, he's married. He's been married since almost 30 some years, close to 30 some years. I think 30 he had about 30 some years. And I knew him since high school. We always been running buddies. I put him in my videos, talk about his case with his son Johnny. Him and his wife was married for like over 30 some years. They had some rough patches and everything. But but for me, I just stay single. And it was like, wow. But the blessing about the blessing about being married versus being single. People bless, you have something to do, you have something to look forward to. You can have something to look forward to when you're single. Of course, you have a lot of time and you don't have to answer nobody, that's true. But in the case of a medical emergency, you have someone there. That's why it's good to have if you have a loving spouse. Number two thing, tax-wise, you probably do pretty good getting money back when you're a couple, and you're able to do things more than you have, or as a single person. If you have children, and it since around tax time, it can probably be a blessing too, because you get back for your child care. So tax-wise, and then God, I noticed that couples that are married, they look younger. They preserve themselves. Men take good care of themselves. They have a good woman to help them kind of, hey, you need to take care of yourself, and so they motivate to take care. So that's one of the things about being a blessing, if you find the right woman that can be that blessing to you. But when you're single, you don't have to answer somebody. You can go and do what you want to do, and you don't have to answer somebody. But you work, you come home, but you don't really have no one to go to the movies with. I mean, when you're single, you can hang out with your partner, or if you're a single dad or single mom, you can. But your friends might have time, don't have time and work and everything. But when you have a spouse, you have someone Um, cooking, of course, you sing, you eat whatever you want to, sleep whenever you want to, go. And it's some good and some good and some bad in being, you know, and being single and versus marriage. But when you have someone marriages, if something would happen to you, you know, you have someone there to go back and tell your family what happened if something happened to you. When you're single, nobody don't know what happened to you. Something happened to you, who's going to go and tell? Unless they find out the next day or the next week. So that's something to think about. And just if you can find the right person to love sharing life with, to enjoy life with, that's the major thing. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to butt heads. You're not going to always agree on everything. I've heard couples say the same thing. They've been lovingly married for 20, 30, 40 years. They have the good ups and downs, but you just don't just run and bear with it. And one thing, you can say I think what married couples learn, the right ones who really love each other, they learn from God how to love and preserve their marriage. And even went through difficult times, whether it's financial or whatever going on, physical or emotional, or just days when you want to you have your little ins and out, but you love each other through sickness and health until, like the vow says. That's one of the good things of being blessing. But when you single, you on your own. Basically what it is. If you don't have a really strong network of people, and then when you get older, your friends, they go their separate ways. The ones who are married, they might have time, make a little time for you, but they ain't gonna have much time for you. Family members the same way, friends, so they're gonna be doing their own thing. So then your parents might, if they still living, they doing their own thing. And that's why I think some of us is left with companions with four-legged animals or whatever. Unless you want to keeps you motivated, having a pet. But, can take it to the park and that's about it. But, it can show you comfort and ease, but a pet is a pet. Not like it's a human person, to interact with you. But some people prefer it that way. I'm not knocking for the people who are, but that's the way it is. But I don't have a pet myself, and that's a lot of responsibility, taking care of a pet. About as much as taking care of about the same probably amount, probably a little cheaper than taking care of a child probably. But still, you have to, with a pet, you still got to make sure he's eating right, he's healthy. And that's pretty much it. Probably a spam call. So that's one of the things that you look forward to. But yeah, it's just dating is hard. Finding someone to be a good companion is hard out here. It's hard because people you gotta find someone who's a giver, who truly gives and who loves from the heart. And I think that's what makes it harder for most people to meet up with each other. And like myself and many other people my age and younger and older, that's probably what's going on. And it takes some strong faith to overcome those little obstacles of depression at times and being down, and maybe trying to figure out what you can do to turn around. I mean, changing your hygiene, whatever could easy. A couple things that could easy, like your clothing, hygiene, things like that. That's true. Finances, that can change too, but it all depends on the person. It ain't too many good people out there, And then the time I've tried to meet somebody, it didn't turn out too well. And I thought maybe I meet someone, and I don't know why I thought meeting somebody online, once in a while it might work out, but somebody, you don't know who they really are. Until you see them in person, they could be telling you one thing, and they can be living a whole different life. And again, you get so caught up with someone telling you sweet words and saying nice things, but women got give about good game as some men do when it comes to opposite sex. Women come up with they not talking to some men with some good game to get what they want out of a man. Just like a man get good game when he wants to get on some women. When some women know that he got that point that she willing to give him a dish and give him everything he ever need. I was never that type of guy that women that were like, wow, some guys don't have no problem, getting something out of a woman. Man, me, I'm one of those guys like, good luck. I guess some people have it like that. Some people have a natural ability, whether it's charm, whether it's charisma, whatever it is. And so, I guess some people like myself would just grin and bear it and just hate. But when you get blessed with it, you're thankful that you have somebody, because, like I mentioned in the previous video, it's just that it sucks out here. People, it's worse now than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Meet someone for a relationship, start out a relationship. You see and that's just the people you see online. You couldn't imagine what some of the people you see offline, what you encounter. And and the main thing I have to say is, make sure their mind is right. I know their parents can look good. They can have the right education. They can have the right job. They can drive a nice car. They can be all dimmed up and hemmed up. But if their mind ain't right, man, that's all it takes. That's why you really got to get to know a person, and really hear them out. And don't be so swooned by their talks. Don't be so swooned with what they say. And I was like, wow, because you picture in your mind that, yeah, this could be it. This could be the person. You just don't, and you might not find out it's not what it's cracked up to be. You might have two different outlooks in life, and personalities and things like that. Some women have, there's someone like that, they're used to a bad boy, rough around the edges sort of guy. And you're not rough around the edges, well, they don't think you're aggressive. You're not assertive enough. I mean, it's crazy, I mean, just little things. And so it's tough out here being a man. That's why I tell some of my friends and my friends who are married, like, or got significant others. You're blessed, man, because it's like you ain't got to go through all this. I know you and your old lady might have you up and down, but you ain't got to go through this craziness out here when it comes to a single man who chooses to go back into the dating market and trying to meet him a woman and trying to meet the right woman. And you have to get around somebody who's manipulating, who's controlling. You don't know, they could be toxic, and you're just like, whoa, where is this coming from? They've been battered, and I've seen it all. I've seen it. Meeting some young women, and not really trying to get intimate with every young woman, just to start out with the stages. I remember this one young lady I met down there in Indiana, which is across from Louisville, Kentucky, and we was exchanging, talking, text, and she sent me some pictures. She's a very attractive woman. The thing about it was that, just by talking to her, I got to once you really see what she was doing, because she's trying to talk with this dude. She got talk with this dude that got a business over here. This one guy got a good job over here. This one guy, and I'm like, man, and how would she think about certain ones and what her motive is? And it's like, I said, that's kind of messed up. I said, because these some good men that probably another woman would value. But she thought, she's one, she was one of these pretty attractive black women that just think that she got four or five in her back pocket, and she just do whatever, and she can play them from each side, and get what they want out of a man. And I mean, and to the women who's continue to act like that, it's only going to last for so long. It's going to eventually come back and backfire on you. And right now, the last thing I heard, last time I saw her, she felt she was sick in the bed. She can't get out of her bed. So I'm like, wow, she's practically bedridden. Just by trying to be slick, it comes back on you. Just your beauty and your booty and your beauty and your ain't gonna keep a man too long if you got a crappy attitude. And that's what happened to her, man. And I even told her, I said, now I hear more about. I don't think I want to talk. I don't think I could date you. Oh, you could date me. I said, no. After what you, because once I learned to listen to her and what she was, this woman ain't right, man. And if she doing these dudes like that, she was telling me one time. She's telling me a story about how her husband's best friend came on to her and how her husband literally almost took his life, beat the living mess out of him, practically put him in the hospital. And I was like, man, over some crazy stuff, and that was his, her daughter's father, and the one time I went down there. In fact, I seen him in person. This guy, he's a pretty nice sized guy, and she had, she told him that I was her brother's friend, just hanging around out there. But I don't want the dude jumping on me, because I heard he was kind of really, he's still in love with her. He's still obsessed with her. So that's another thing you gotta be, guys, you don't want to be getting in some mess, and you get jumped on and get unalive or be put in the hospital unalive over some mess, because some women, they like that attention. Just get some women, that's another thing you have to be careful. They'll start something to see how you gonna respond, how men gonna respond. Oh, okay, I made him a little mad. I know this is the way he felt about me. I mean, some women have that kind of mindset, and there are men have been going to the graves messing with women like that. I knew a man ended up going to prison. One of my good friends going to prison because his ex-wife told a lie, told him that he put his hands on, because she had 2 kids, and she had a daughter and a son. She went back and told him that, and it was all told someone that her husband, my friend, put his hands on his daughter. Come to find out, it wasn't true. And the reason why I know it was true was right before his mother passed away, she told me what happened. That she had a record doing it. She did this to her kid's natural daddy. So you understand why some men don't want to deal with some women, don't want to deal with women with kids, because they can do, some women are that dirty, they can do you like that. And I dated a woman one time. I should have learned. I dated a woman one time. She wasn't black, she wasn't white, she was Micronesian. And the Micronesian is one of the places over, and I think it's an island. I think it's over an island in the Pacific somewhere. I think it's not too far from Guam and one of those areas over there. And what happened was, we in the courting dating stage, but we didn't even get to the next serious stage before she started talking to me crazy. This is before I met the one girl I met down in Kentucky. I think this probably, no, right after I met the one, right, this one, right after. We're just courting and dating. It's, one day, she wants to work, she worked at a nursing home down there on the outskirts of Cincinnati. And so, she went back and she had the nerve to tell me this, that she was telling, I don't know if she was saying this in a joking way, that she said, I told those women, I got you wrapped around my fingers. And I said, oh, really? You got me wrapped around your fingers? And, me being a guy, being a nice guy, I had to instantly turn into a jerk. And I cut it off. Yeah. And her, she tell a child to disrespect me in her native tongue. Here I'm taking her. In here, she didn't have a car, right? Because her sister and her husband was taking her to work. So here I'm the new man. I'm taking her to her job. And she's disrespecting me. Being a nice guy. And just telling me, I don't know, just say anything just to hurt me. Just try to come at me. I don't want to kiss you no more. I don't want to do this no more. I was like, okay. Just think I was going to put up with it. And I just got fed up with it. I don't know why some women think that by treating a good-hearted man, that no matter how nice a man can be, he has a choice that he can just walk out. He ain't got to put up with your stuff. Just like I met you, I meet another. In fact, I can meet other women. And that's how I looked at it. It's like we're just courting. We're not even, you haven't shown me to take it to the next level. So that's what happened. Trying to feel like you can play the nice guy. Yeah. Every man has his limit. I don't care how nice he is. And how much he gonna put up with. And I left her. And she was shocked. She tried to call me, didn't even pick up the phone no more. You disrespected me like that? I didn't just, I could have cussed her out and just said no. You know what, dude? Just cut her off. Simply. You know what you did. You ain't sorry what you did. She did it, and then I so-called, well, I tell you what, the first time I did try to go back and see she sort of apologized, but she's continuing to be a jerk. So second time I cut it off. And just, like I said, we're at the dating stage. And that was it. So when I tell you I'm a man that has been through it, I've seen it. Been through it all. And we hear women's perspective, but you never hear the man's perspective. A good-hearted man that was working hard. I ain't got no criminal record. I don't abuse women or anything like that. I don't cheat. I didn't cheat on a woman. Nothing like that. But some women don't appreciate that. Some women out there want a complicated man. And it's the truth. Like toxic to, not all, but there's a certain demographic attracted to that. And like some people, I don't understand why somebody wants something like that. I don't know, they think it's exciting. And you have some people like that. And you think sometimes they're young, but sometimes they could be older too, that still never grew out of that mess. You're looking at a person that's been through some things, and hearing what, and trust me, and then it weighs on you. It's because it's like you start questioning yourself. Why is it me? Why you start questioning yourself, like, what is it me? Is I'm to this, I'm to that, I'm to this. It's just, just rushing into things. And so, men like myself, and there's probably plenty of men like myself out there. That's why we're fed up. And when we see women on there griping and complaining, like I've seen, on some social media, I'm like, are you serious? You want them in this, you want them in to make six figure. This man ain't doing this. You ain't a real man. If you're not doing this, you're a real man. You ain't doing. Men are, and it's like, okay, that's it. And I said this a long time ago in the video. A lot of women, or their mouths is going to keep them single. They don't use no wisdom whatsoever. But they're so proud and they're so arrogant. Just say anything and don't think that that's why you still by yourself and your friend or your sister can be able to hold down a relationship. It be them same women that you can't tell them nothing. They got too much mouth. Fortunately, I know some people in my family like that. I'm not going to say it, but I can see why their mouth ruined relationships with people. Especially people they relate to. And it's like they don't have no government. They don't have no. It's good to let someone know all on your mind, but they don't think about. They construct it, but get your point across without being the line of respect. And some women don't have that. When it comes to men, they don't have a line of respect. Men want respect. This is the reason why. Some men don't want to be bothered. From a man's point of view. Just griping and complaining, bitching and complaining, and you have it. And there's women in some part of the world that wish they had a man. The physical companion of a man. That there will be submission to, in agreement with. Not being like a step or wife or anything, but just being in agreement. Not giving the hard road to go. Do you understand God, his role as a man, and respect him? And even if he's coming short at some point, you don't tear him down. You don't insult him. That's not going to make him a better man. I don't know why some women do that. And it's like, and someone out there, there's some woman that out there is like that. That's why she never can keep no man. That's why men are always constantly, or she makes them bring out a certain type of anger. And if they put some hands on her, it's not going to be good. Sometimes your own mouth can be your own destruction. Some people don't learn the wisdom and one of the things, even the book of Proverbs talk about a woman, a contentious wife. So when you're a contentious woman, you're going to make that man want to go and sit on the roof. So, yeah, that's why some women are single. And that's why some men stay single. And some men are probably giving up hope altogether. Stop, like they ain't even looking, they don't want to bother. And right now, in this day and age, there's no more strong women that understand that we're in tough times. That, hey, even if that man don't have a lot, don't make him much, but don't belittle him as a man. Because at the end of the day, he goes through his own cycle too, just like you go through your own situation. Men have pain too, ladies. We might express the way you do, but we have pain, and we don't want to get this. No man wants to get this disrespected. So like he could be a coward as a mouse, but he's a man at the end of the day. And some women forget about that. And a lot of these women in the westernized world, that's why they lose their husbands and their boyfriends. They could look drop dead gorgeous, And he's like, man, I don't understand. This woman looks drop dead gorgeous. Yeah, it's a personality. That you can get the man, but you can't keep the man. And they live on this fancy, I can just treat you if you got all the money in the world kind of man. You can make six figures and she still won't. Then she feel like she can just get whatever out of you, but she has no heart. Don't you? I don't care if you're a man that is under six figure or a man's over six figure. Everybody want to be loved. They don't want to be manipulated, used for their resources. Just a bargain with the body. Just for a body. Your body's going to change when you get older. Most men and women do. We're aging in these bodies. No matter how many Botox or exercise you do, you still aging. You might not age as faster, but you still age. And it's going to come back on you. And some men have to put it straight like this. And you say you want that man, but, and I have heard, and I made videos about I said, and these same women will go to a single event and be whining, crying, ain't no man, then show up. Yeah. It's no mind you being confident. It's one thing to be confident, though. When you get cocky and arrogant, that's what kind of would turn men off. We see that you're independent. He sees that we're seeing that you can take care of yourself. You have to throw that up in a man's face. There's someone say they don't need them. There's a lot of women say they don't need men. You don't need your opposite half of what God put in the earth. Make sense of that. Again, your own words is your own words that you keeping something away. And when you keep speaking at something, it's going to stay away for a while. You know, the Bible said that words have life, have power. So whatever you speak, you put out, the world call it energy, whatever. It's going to stay out there. You might not get what you get. And even if you accomplish everything you do and still turn around for that man, are you going to be or are you going to be yourself a self-made woman? Or are you going to open up, or are you going to let God open up your heart to let the man be the man to help you and show you and put him in position? Because God first, Jesus, the man, the woman, and the children. That's the way it is. And some of you women, I don't care how educated you are, what you accomplish, whatever. At the end of the day, you want a relationship, that's the way it is. And most men want to have that respect for that position as a human being, what God intended him to be. I know I do. You know, at this stage of the game, because even though I'm a good-hearted person, I have my limits too. Just like you have your limits. That's how I feel. And I know a lot of men like they got their limits. And you gotta learn to respect that. Men told you what we want. We want, silence and respect and cooperation. But if you can't be like that, especially in the westernized society, there's a woman out there that will. She might be of another nation and will, and learn the principles of it. And she learned what to appreciate what God put in front of her face. So my advice to the American women, the Western women, maybe you need to do the same. Because if you don't, go over and there's a China. There are over 30 million single women over there. They call them leftover women. They think just like you, and they can't have a husband. And I might make a video about that and show you. 30 million women. they're over 30 and they can't get they're past the age of 25, and then when they figure when you get about 30, you're useless. So you're useless. So my advice to American women, whether you're a black woman, white woman, whatever woman that come across this video, and you got this snarky attitude, whatever, and the reason why you don't have the man like your sister do, your mama might have a man, your auntie know how to keep a man, but you don't know how to keep a healthy, happy relationship. It's your personality. Of course, attractive helps the pretty face, sometimes the body, but the personality sure makes up for all that. So that's just something to think about. That's why you see some of the most unattractive women get the most handsomest man, because of their personality. The average woman gets the most handsome man because of their personality. That's what you need to understand. That some of you women caught on your looks. Some of you women caught on your materialistic. Some of you women caught on how educated you are. That don't impress a man. They're telling you from all walks of life, even men who are at the level where you at, they're not impressed with that. Can you be a good companion? So hope you learn to like and subscribe, guys. Hope you like this video. But yeah, that's from my dating experience. And even though I'm not a man that not making 2 or 3 or 4, 5, 6 figures, but I know about life. And I've come across men who have been there. Men who retired from this there. It all comes down to it. Men I've seen online. The reason why you don't have it, check your personality. And ask the good Lord to help work on your personality. Because nobody can do it but you. Not another woman or some counselor. It's going to take you if you want to have a husband. Just like us men, we need to have counseling. You do too. Not in the pocket, but it's going to hold a relationship, ladies. It's the persona. It's your personality. That's what men want. That's what's going to make a happy relationship. And if God give you a good, nice guy, good man, appreciate him. Don't belittle him. Don't talk down on him like a boy. Respect him. Honor him. Even if he's not perfect yet. He'll God make him the man. But it's going to require you to take time and patience. Because no man is perfect. It's like no woman is perfect. And I hope some of you women, regardless of your age, wherever your age in life, you understand that. Don't matter what your age is. It's because anybody can learn. Because if you don't, your arrogance is going, and your masculinity, and trying to put your femininity, but you got a masculine side, that's going to turn the men away. And your words is going to keep you alone. Hear my voice. Hear what I'm saying. Your words can keep you alone. It ain't somebody got to cuss you out, cut up with you. You only hurt yourself. And God's going to show you in time. That stubbornness is going to break. Your ego is going to break one way or the other. You've been too much yourself too long, and that's the way you is. Yeah, And maybe I might be your closest friend, but not everybody out here gonna deal with that. Just something to think about. Okay then? So change your attitude, ladies. You want a man, if a woman come across the video, if you are that kind of woman, change it. I suggest you change it. Or it's gonna be a long, lonely, dark road, cold nights. Remember, the words can create life and bring curses. You decide. Take care, be blessed. Guys, hope you like this video. Like and subscribe. See you on the next video.